2.17. 1.
I saw an old man with a dog.
2.
It's a nice house. She's a lawyer.
3.
What an awful day.
4.
I have classes 3 times a week.
2.18. 1.
I saw an old man with a dog. The dog was barking.
2.
My father opened the door. The children are at school.
3.
The moon goes around the earth.
4.
I'm going to the movies tonight.
5.
It's the best restaurant in town.
2.19. 1.
Women usually talk more than men.
Love is more important than money.
2.
She's not at home today.
I get back from work at 5:30.
3.
I never have breakfast.
4.
See you next Friday.
2.20.
Computer. About. Anniversary. Complain. Credible. Problem. Talkative. Usually. Woman.
2.21. 1.
What are we going to have for lunch today?
2.
I'd like to see a good movie tonight.
3.
Please stop complaining about the weather.
4.
The woman in the kitchen is very talkative.
5.
There's a problem with the computer.
2.22.
The movies.
The end.
The other day.
The world.
The sun.
The internet.
The kitchen.
The answer.
The earth.
2.23.
Excuse me, is this seat empty?
Yes, sure. Sit down. He's cute. Is he yours?
Yes. Actually, he's a she. Miranda.
Oh, 3 months?
3.5. How about yours?
Steven. He's 4 months. Did you have a bad night?
Yes, Miranda was crying all night. You know, that noise gets to you. It drives me crazy.
Do you know what you need? These.
What are they? Earplugs?
Yes, earplugs. When the baby starts crying, you just put these in. You can still hear the crying, but the noise isn't so bad, and it's not so stressful.
That's a great idea. Who told you to do that?
It's all in this book I read. You should get it.
Yeah? What's it called?
It's called Commando Dad. It was written by an ex-soldier. He was a commando in the Army, and it's especially for men with babies or small children. It's pretty good.
Really? So what's so good about it?
Well, it's like a military manual. It tells you exactly what to do with a baby in any situation. It makes everything easier. There's a website, too, that you can go to, commandodad.com. It has a lot of advice about taking care of babies and small kids, and I really like the forums where men can write in with their problems or their experiences.
What kind of things does it help you with?
All kinds of things. How to change diapers. He has a really good system. How to dress the baby. How to get the baby to sleep. The best way to feed the baby. How to know if the baby is sick. It's really useful. And it's pretty funny, too. I mean, he uses a kind of military language. So, for example, he calls the baby a BT, which means a baby trooper. And the baby's bedroom is base camp. And taking the baby for a walk is maneuvers. And taking the diapers to the trash is called bomb disposal.
What else does it say?
Well, it has all kinds of stuff about...
And what does he think about men taking care of children? Does he think we do it well?
He thinks that men are just as good as women at taking care of children in almost everything.
Almost everything?
Yeah, he says the one time when women are better than men is when the kids are sick. Women kind of understand better what to do. They have an instinct. Oh, now it's my turn. Okay, I know exactly what that cry means. It means he's hungry.
Wow, what was that book called?
2.24.
Generally speaking, I think women worry more about their appearance than men. They tend to spend hours choosing what to wear, doing their hair, and putting on makeup. Women are also usually better at making themselves look more attractive. But I think that in general, men are more worried than women about their body image. They feel more insecure about their hair, for instance, especially when they're going bald.
2.25. Dependent prepositions after verbs. 1.
He apologized to the police officer for driving fast.
2.
We're arriving in Miami on Sunday.
3.
We're arriving at O'Hare Airport at 3:45.
4.
Who does this book belong to?
5.
I never argue with my husband about money.
6.
Could you ask the waiter for the check?
7.
Do you believe in ghosts?
8.
I can't choose between these two bags.
9.
We might go out. It depends on the weather.
10.
I dreamed about my childhood last night.
11.
Don't laugh at me. I'm doing my best.
12.
I'm really looking forward to the party.
13.
If I pay for the gas, can you pay for the parking?
14.
This music reminds me of our honeymoon in Italy.
15.
I don't spend a lot of money on clothes.
2.26. After adjectives. 1.
My brother is afraid of bats.
2.
She's really angry with her boyfriend about last night.
3.
I've never been good at sports.
4.
Eat your vegetables. They're good for you.
5.
I'm very close to my older sister.
6.
This exercise isn't very different from the last one.
7.
We're really excited about going to Brazil.
8.
I'm fed up with listening to you complaining.
9.
Krakow is famous for its main square.
10.
My sister is very interested in astrology.
11.
I'm very fond of my little nephew. He's adorable.
12.
She's very passionate about riding her bike. She does about 30 miles every weekend.
13.
I don't like people who aren't kind to animals.
14.
She used to be married to a pop star.
15.
I'm really happy with my new motorcycle.
16.
My dad was very proud of learning to ski.
17.
Why are you always rude to waiters and salespeople?
18.
Rachel is worried about losing her job.
19.
I'm tired of walking. Let's stop and rest.
2.27. 1.
When you're with friends of the same sex, what do you usually talk about?
2.
Are there any sports or games that you're good at?
3.
Is there anything you're really looking forward to?
4.
Who in your family are you closest to?
5.
What kind of movies are you interested in?
6.
Are there any animals or insects that you're afraid of?
7.
What's your town famous for?
8.
Are there any superstitions that you believe in?
2.28.
You work hard, but your money's all spent. Haven't got enough to pay the rent. You know it's not right, and it makes no sense to go chasing those dollars and cents. Chasing those dollars and cents.
That was great, Kerry.
Thanks.
Kerry, you used to be in a band. Now you play solo. Why did you change?
What happened with the band is private. I've already said I don't want to talk about it in interviews. All I'll say is that I have a lot more freedom this way. I can play and say what I want.
Did your relationship with the band's lead guitarist affect the breakup?
No comment. I never talk about my private life.
Your dad was in a famous punk band and your mum's a classical pianist. Have they influenced your music?
Of course they have. What do you think? Isn't everyone influenced by their parents?
When did you start playing?
I started playing the guitar when I was about 4.
4? That's pretty young.
Yeah, the guitar was nearly as big as me.
I think that your new album is your best yet. It's a lot quieter and more experimental than your earlier albums.
Thank you. I think it's my best work.
So, what have you been doing recently?
Well, I've been writing and recording some new songs, and I've played at some of the summer festivals in the UK.
And what are you doing while you're in the States?
I'm going to play at some clubs here in New York. Then I'm doing some small gigs in other places. I just want to get to know the country and the people. It's all very new to me. Those dollars and cents, chasing those dollars and cents.
Good job, Rob. She isn't the easiest person to interview.
She's okay. And this video clip will work great online.
Well, thank you for coming in today, Carrie. Now I suggest we have some lunch. Rob, could you call a taxi?
Sure.
(2.29)
So, when will you be coming back to New York, Carrie?
Oh, I don't know.
Hi, guys. Is everything okay?
Yes, it's delicious, thank you.
That's great.
New York waiters never leave you alone. I really don't like all this "Hi guys, is everything okay" stuff.
What? You mean waiters aren't friendly in London?
Oh, they're very friendly.
Yes, they're friendly, but not too friendly. They don't bother you all the time.
Can I get you anything else? More drinks, maybe?
No thanks, we're fine.
Fantastic.
See what I mean? Personally, I think people in London are a lot more easygoing. London's just not as hectic as New York.
Sure, we all like peace and quiet, but in my opinion, New York is possibly, well, no, is definitely the greatest city in the world. Don't you agree?
To be honest, I definitely prefer London.
Come on, Rob. You've lived in both. What do you think?
Well, I have to say London's very special. It's more relaxed. It's got great parks, and you can cycle everywhere. It's dangerous to cycle in New York.
Why would you cycle when you can drive a car?
You can't be serious.
Okay, I agree London has its own peculiar charm. But if you ask me, nothing compares with a city like New York. The whole world is here.
But that's the problem. It's too big. There are too many people. Everybody's so stressed out, and nobody has any time for you.
I don't think that's right, Carrie. New Yorkers are very friendly.
Oh, sure, they can sound friendly with all that have a nice day stuff, but I always think it's a little bit fake.
You've got to be kidding me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll just have to take this. Hello? Yes? You're who? The taxi driver? What did she leave? Her cell phone. Right. Okay. Yes, we're still at the restaurant. See you in about 5 minutes.
(2.30) 1.
Personally, I think people in London are a lot more easygoing. London's just not as hectic as New York.
Sure, we all like peace and quiet, but in my opinion, New York is possibly, well, no, is definitely the greatest city in the world. Don't you agree?
To be honest, I definitely prefer London.
Come on, Rob. You've lived in both. What do you think?
2.
Okay, I agree London has its own peculiar charm. But if you ask me, nothing compares with a city like New York. The whole world is here.
But that's the problem. It's too big. There are too many people. Everybody's so stressed out, and nobody has any time for you.
I don't think that's right, Carrie. New Yorkers are very friendly.
Oh, sure, they can sound friendly with all that have a nice day stuff.
2.31
Personally, I think.
But in my opinion, don't you agree?
To be honest.
What do you think? Okay, I agree. But if you ask me,
I don't think that's right.
Oh, sure.
(2.32)
Thank you for a nice lunch, Don.
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming, guys. Have a nice day.
See? Nice, friendly service.
Maybe, but I think she saw the big tip you left on the table.
Did you mean what you said in the restaurant, Rob?
Did I mean what?
About missing London.
Sure I miss it, Jenny.
Really?
But hey, not that much. It's just that moving to a new place is always difficult.
But you don't regret coming here, do you?
No, not at all.
It's just that you seemed homesick in there. For the parks, the cycling.
Well, there are some things I miss, but... Oh, hang on a minute. Look over there. Our taxi's come back.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Who, me? What is it?
I believe this is your cell phone. You left it in my cab.
What? Oh, wow. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
That was so kind of him.
See? New Yorkers are really friendly people.
2.33.
Did you mean what you said in the restaurant, Rob? It's just that you seemed homesick in there.
Oh, hang on a minute. Our taxi's come back.
That was so kind of him.
2.34.
I can speak 3 languages fluently.
Jenny can't come tonight. She's sick.
My cousin could play the violin when she was 3.
They couldn't wait because they were in a hurry.
Could you open the door for me, please?
2.35. 1.
Luke has been able to swim since he was 3.
I'd like to be able to ski.
I love being able to stay in bed late on Sunday morning.
You'll be able to practice your English in the U.S.
2.
Fortunately, I am able to accept your invitation.
My colleagues weren't able to come to yesterday's meeting.
2.36. 1.
I'd love to be able to ski.
2.
We won't be able to come.
3.
I've never been able to dance.
4.
She hates not being able to drive.
2.37. 1.
I'd love to be able to ski. Ride a horse. I'd love to be able to ride a horse.
2.
We won't be able to come. Park. We won't be able to park.
3.
I've never been able to dance. Speak French. I've never been able to speak French.
4.
She hates not being able to drive. Cook. She hates not being able to cook.
5.
Will you be able to find it? Afford it. Will you be able to afford it?
6.
He'd love to be able to snowboard. Windsurf. He'd love to be able to windsurf.
7.
I love being able to understand everyone. Speak to everyone. I love being able to speak to everyone.
8.
They haven't been able to finish. Come. They haven't been able to come.
2.38. 1.
What do you think is the most exciting sport to watch?
2.
What's the most amazing scenery you've ever seen?
3.
What music do you listen to if you feel depressed?
4.
Have you ever been disappointed by a birthday present?
5.
Which do you find more tiring, speaking English or listening to English?
6.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you?
7.
Are you scared of spiders?
8.
Do you feel very tired in the morning?
9.
Who's the most boring person you know?
10.
Do you ever get frustrated by technology?
2.39. 1.
Afrikaans.
Hallo.
2.
German.
Guten Tag.
3.
French.
Bonjour.
4.
Hebrew.
Shalom.
5.
Russian.
Привет.
6.
English.
Hello.
7.
Greek.
Γεια σου.
8.
Catalan.
Bon dia.
9.
Spanish.
Hola.
10.
Dutch.
Goedendag.
11.
Italian.
Ciao.
2.40. 1.
One very easy thing you can do is just change the language to English on all the gadgets you have. For example, on your phone or laptop or tablet. That way you're reading English every day, and without really noticing, you just learn a whole lot of vocabulary. For example, the things you see on your screen, like, "Are you sure you want to shut down now?" Things like that.
2.
My tip is to do things that you like doing, but in English. So, for example, if you like reading, then read in English. If you like movies, watch them in English with subtitles. If you like computer games, play them in English. But don't do things you don't enjoy in your language. I mean, if you don't like reading in your language, you'll enjoy it even less in English, and so you probably won't learn anything.
3.
What really helped me to improve my English was having an American boyfriend. He didn't speak any Japanese. Well, not many foreigners do. So we spoke English all the time, and my English improved really quickly. We broke up when he went back to the US, but by then I could speak pretty fluently. We didn't exactly end up as friends, but I'll always be grateful to him for the English I learned. So my tip is, try to find an English-speaking boyfriend or girlfriend.
4. I've always thought that learning vocabulary is very important, so I bought a vocabulary flashcard app for my phone. I write down all the new words and phrases I want to remember in French and in English, and then, when I get a quiet moment, I test myself. It really helps me remember new vocabulary. So that's my tip. Get a vocabulary learning app for your phone.
5.
I think one of the biggest problems when you're learning something new is motivation. Something to make you continue and not give up. So my tip is to book yourself a vacation in an English-speaking country or a country where people speak very good English, like the Caribbean, as a little reward for yourself, and so you can actually practice your English. It's really motivating when you go somewhere and find that people understand you and you can communicate. Last year, I went to the Bahamas for a weekend, and I had a great time and I spoke a lot of English.
6.
If you love music, which I do, my tip is to listen to as many songs as possible in English, and then learn to sing them. It's so easy nowadays with YouTube. First I download the lyrics and try to understand them. Then I sing along with the singer and try to copy the way he or she sings. This is fantastic for your pronunciation. Then, once I can do it well, I go back to YouTube and get a karaoke version of the song. And then I sing it. It's fun, and your English will really improve as a result.
2.41. 1. Two.
Goodbye.
3. Four.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi, Jack. It's Sandra. I was just calling to confirm that meeting.
5. 6.
Hello?
Oh, hi. It's James. I called half an hour ago, but Anne wasn't there. Is she there now?
7. 2.42. 1.
You have to wear a seatbelt in the car.
Do you have to work on Saturdays?
I had to wear a uniform at my elementary school.
I'll have to get up early tomorrow. My interview is at 9 o'clock.
2.
You must be on time tomorrow because there's a test.
You must remember to call Emily. It's her birthday.
3.
I love the Louvre. You have to go when you're in Paris.
You must see this movie. It's amazing.
2.43.
You don't have to pay. This museum is free.
You don't have to go to the party if you don't want to.
2.44.
You must not park here.
2.45.
You should take warm clothes with you to Quito. It might be cold at night.
You shouldn't drink so much coffee. It isn't good for you.
I think the government should do something about unemployment.
2.46.
Should.
Talk.
Wrong.
Listen.
Half.
Dishonest.
Knowledge.
Design.
Whole.
Rhythm.
Doubt.
Foreign.
Calm.
Island.
2.47. 1.
You must turn off your phone on a plane.
2.
You should only call him in an emergency.
3.
We have to leave at 11.
4.
You must not open other people's emails.
5.
You shouldn't talk loudly on a cell phone.
2.48.
I always thought that good manners were good manners wherever you were in the world. But that was until I met my boyfriend Jason, who is from Burma, also known as Myanmar. We met in upstate New York when we were both students in college. When we first got to know each other, we were always surrounded by a group of friends. I liked Jason because he was funny and kind, and I could tell he liked me, but we never spent any time alone. The first time I suggested that we hang out without our friends, he said no without an explanation, which I thought was kind of rude. My feelings were hurt, so I didn't talk to him as much. The next time I saw Jason in our big group, he was just as friendly and happy as usual. I was confused. Finally, I asked him why he wouldn't hang out with me. He apologized, and then he told me that in Burma, it's custom to date in a group situation. Since he had only been in the U.S. for a few years, he was still having trouble navigating the two cultures he lived in, the more reserved Burmese culture and the more open American culture. A few months later, after we started dating, I asked him why he never responded to my cute romantic Facebook posts with more than cool or thanks. It seemed weird to me that his responses weren't romantic. And honestly, I was a little jealous of the sweet posts my American friends' boyfriends left on their Facebook pages. But Jason told me in Burma, it's considered bragging to express your feelings in public, especially on a social networking site. He didn't want his family and friends to think he was bragging about his American girlfriend. From an American point of view, I thought he was being a bit cold. However, from a Burmese point of view, he was actually being respectful. As confused as I was about what's considered good and bad manners in Jason's culture, he felt the same way about American culture. He thought it was bad manners to refer to have a best friend, and he would argue with me whenever I called my friend Rachel my best friend. Jason said there is no such thing as a best friend in Burmese culture. There are only close friends. It would be inconsiderate to name one person as a best friend because your other friends would feel offended. Anyway, we've been together for 2 years, and we still have disagreements. But we've learned that as long as we're a couple, we'll never completely agree about whether our manners are good or bad, and that most importantly, it's okay to agree to disagree.
2.50 Christopher.
How do you get to work?
I take the subway every day. I take 2 trains. I live in Brooklyn. I take a train from Brooklyn to Washington Square, and then I switch to a train that takes me to Midtown Manhattan.
How long does it take?
It takes about 30 to 40 minutes.
What do you think is the best way to get around New York City?
I think subways are an excellent way to get around New York. They serve all 5 boroughs, and they're open 24 hours a day, so they're very convenient, and they don't get stuck in traffic.
Maria.
Do you think women are better than men with young children, or do you think that's just a stereotype?
I think women they're more natural with young children. They have a natural ability with them. They're better at sort of knowing what they need and perhaps knowing if they need hugs or food or things like that. And perhaps their manner is better with young children. I think men can do it, but perhaps it takes a bit more practice.
Harry.
Some new research says that men talk just as much as women. Do you think that's true?
Definitely think that's true. I would say that I know men who talk more than women talk. Especially in my family, it's the men who do most of the talking, especially repeating the same story time and time again.
Do you think men and women talk about different things?
Yes, I think they do talk about different things. I think they have different interests, and so they will try and control the conversation to topics that interest them rather than everyone else.
Skylar.
Is there anything you've tried to learn but failed?
I've always wanted to learn to paint very well, but I have never been very good at it, so it's not my thing.
Have you stopped trying?
I still paint for fun, but I'm not very good, so I just do it for leisure activity.
Christina.
Is there anything that people do with their phones that really annoys you?
Yeah, lots of things, but
what really gets to me is when people are interacting with you, but they're looking at the phone at the same time, or, when you're having dinner, if they keep checking their phone, that bothers me.
American English File, 2nd edition, Student Book 3, by Christina Latham Koenig and Clive Oxenden, published in copyright Oxford University Press, 2014. CD3. 3.2. Sports. People and places. 3.
Captain.
7.
Coach.
1.
Fans.
5.
Players.
2.
Referee. Umpire.
9.
Spectators. The crowd.
4.
Team.
8.
Stadium.
6.
Sports arena.
3.3. 1.
Tennis court. Basketball court.
2.
Soccer field. Baseball field.
3.
Swimming pool. Diving pool.
4.
Running track. Horse racing track.
5.
Golf course.
6.
Ski slope.
3.4. Verbs. A.
Beat. Beat. Beaten.
Win. Won. Won.
Lose. Lost. Lost.
Tie. Tied. Tied.
B. 1.
Costa Rica beat the U.S. 3-0.
2.
Costa Rica won the game 3-0.
3.
The Chicago Bulls lost 78-91 to the Boston Celtics.
4.
Spain tied with Brazil 2-2.
3.5. 1.
Professional sports people have to train every day.
2.
Don't play tennis on a wet court. You might get injured.
3.
A soccer player has to try to kick the ball into the goal.
4.
I've started going to the gym because I want to get in shape.
5.
Our new striker is going to score a lot of goals.
6.
Would you like to go swimming this afternoon?
7.
My brothers do yoga and Tai Chi.
8.
In basketball, players throw the ball to each other.
3.6.
Horse. Or. Court. For. Score. Shorts. Sport. Warm up.
Bird. Girl. Hurt. Serve. Shirt. World. Worse. Work out.
3.7. 1.
I got hurt working out at the gym.
2.
Her serve's worse than the other girls.
3.
It was a tie. The score was 4-4.
4.
It's the worst sport in the world.
5.
We warmed up on the court.
6.
They wore red shirts and white shorts.
3.8. Part 1.
What made you want to become a soccer referee or football referee, as you would call it?
Mi padre fue árbitro, pero eso no me influenció.
My father was a referee, but that didn't influence me. In fact, the opposite, because I saw all the problems that he had as a referee. But as a child, I was always attracted by the idea of being a referee, and at school I used to referee all kinds of sports: basketball, handball, volleyball, and of course football. I was invited to join the Referees Federation when I was only 14 years old.
Were you good at sports yourself?
Yes, I was a very good handball player. People often think that referees become referees because they are frustrated sportsmen, but this is just not true in most cases in my experience.
What was the most exciting match you ever refereed?
It's difficult to choose one match as the most exciting. I remember some of the Real Madrid-Barcelona matches, for example, the first one I ever refereed. The atmosphere was incredible in the stadium. But really, it's impossible to pick just one. There have been so many.
What was the worst experience you ever had as a referee?
The worst? Well, that was something that happened very early in my career. I was only 16, and I was refereeing a match in a town in Spain, and the home team lost. After the match, I was attacked and injured by the players of the home team and by the spectators. After all these years, I can still remember a mother who had a little baby in her arms who was trying to hit me. She was so angry with me that she nearly dropped her baby. That was my worst moment, and it nearly made me stop being a referee.
Do you think that there's more cheating in soccer than in the past?
Yes, I think so.
Why?
I think it's because there's so much money in football today that it's become much more important to win. Also, football is much faster than it used to be, so it's much more difficult for referees to detect cheating.
How do soccer players cheat?
Oh, there are many ways. But for me, the worst thing in football today is what we call simulation. Simulation is when a player pretends to have been fouled when in fact he hasn't. For example, sometimes a player falls over in the penalty area when in fact nobody has touched him. And this can result in the referee giving a penalty when it wasn't a penalty. In my opinion, when a player does this, he's cheating not only the referee, not only the players of the other team, but also the spectators, because spectators pay money to see a fair contest.
3.9. Part 2.
What's the most difficult thing about being a referee?
The most difficult thing is to make the right decisions during a match. It's difficult because you have to make decisions when everything's happening so quickly. Football today is very fast. You must remember that everything is happening at 100 kilometers an hour. Also, important decisions often depend on the referee's interpretation of the rules. Things aren't black and white. And of course, making decisions would be much easier if players didn't cheat.
Do you think that the idea of fair play doesn't exist anymore?
Not at all. I think fair play does exist. The players who cheat are the exceptions.
Finally, who do you think is the best player right now?
I think most people agree that the best footballer today is Leo Messi.
Why do you think he's so good?
It's hard to say what makes him so special, but a study was done on him which showed that Messi can run faster with the ball than many footballers can do without the ball. Apart from his great ability, what I also like about him is that he isn't the typical superstar footballer. You can see that he enjoys playing football, and he behaves in public and in his personal life in a very normal way. That's unusual when you think how famous he is. And what's more, he doesn't cheat. He doesn't need to.
3.10.
She was born in Seoul.
They got married last year.
On the way to Rome, we stopped in Florence for the night.
The plane didn't arrive on time.
What time did you get up this morning?
3.11. 1.
What were you doing at 6 o'clock last night?
2.
I was driving along the freeway when it started snowing.
3.
While I was doing the housework, the children were playing in the yard.
4.
It was a cold night and it was raining. I was watching TV in the living room.
3.12.
When they turned on the TV, the game had already finished.
As soon as I shut the door, I realized that I'd left my keys on the table.
We couldn't get a table in the restaurant because we hadn't booked one.
3.13.
It was a cold night, and it was raining. I was watching TV in the living room. Suddenly, I heard a knock at the door. I got up and opened the door, but there was nobody there. The person who had knocked on the door had disappeared.
3.15. Love at Exit 19. He was a toll booth collector, and she was a soprano who sang in Carnegie Hall. Their eyes met at Exit 19 of the New York State Thruway when he charged her 37 cents. The romance that followed was even less likely than the plot of an opera. Sonia Baker was a frequent commuter from her home in the suburbs to New York City. One day, when she was driving to an audition, she came off the thruway and stopped at the toll booth where Michael Fazio was working. She talked with him as she paid to go through and thought he was cute. For the next 3 months, they used to exchange a few words as she handed him the money, and he raised the barrier to let her pass. It was mostly, "What are you doing today? Where are you going?" she said. They learned more about each other. For example, that Sonia loved Puccini and Verdi, while Michael's love was the New York Yankees. But their conversation suddenly came to an end when Michael changed his working hours. "He used to work during the day," said Sonia, "but he changed to night shifts." Although Michael still looked out for Sonia's white Toyota Corolla, he did not see her again for 6 months. When Michael's working hours changed back to the day shift, he decided to put a traffic cone in front of his lane. He thought, "It will be like putting a candle in a window." Sonia saw it, and their romance started up again. "I almost crashed my car on various occasions," she said, trying to cross several lanes to get to his exit. Finally, she found the courage to give Michael a piece of paper with her phone number as she passed through the toll. Michael called her, and for their first date, they went to see the movie Cool Runnings, and then later they went to an opera, La Bohème, and to a Yankees game. They are now married and living in Kentucky, where Sonia is a voice and music professor at Murray State College, and Michael runs an activity center at a nursing home. It turned out that she had given him her number just in time. A short while later, she moved to New Jersey and stopped using the New York State Thruway. "I might never have seen him again," she said. 3.16. 1.
Sarah and I met in college when we were cast in the University of New Hampshire Theater Department's production of Susanna Centeliever's The Basset Table. We met on stage at the Hennessy Theater during the first play rehearsal. We became good friends, and I started walking her home after rehearsal ended on most nights. We fell in love and continued to date each other throughout college. After we graduated, we moved to Chicago together to start a small theater company. Once we decided to get married, we moved back to New Hampshire and had our ceremony on the stage in the Hennessy Theater where we first met.
2.
Back in 2005, I was doing the online dating thing. But this is no online dating story. One morning, I received an email from a guy named Dan in Chicago. Apparently, he thought I was the perfect match for his friend Greg in Boston. I can't remember whether I was feeling really optimistic or really desperate that morning, but I agreed to email Greg. We exchanged a few emails, met, and got along really well. I thought it was amazing that Greg's friend was able to pick me out of thousands of women. Well, it turns out that Dan wasn't so amazing. He had actually emailed over 20 women for Greg on the dating site. So, to all of the women out there who didn't respond to Dan and take a chance on Greg, thank you. He is the love of my life, my husband, and soon-to-be father of my first child.
3.
Pete and I were both single, and we used to go to clubs together on Saturday night. But then he started going out with a girl who he had met at work. After a few weeks, he said to me, "Why don't you come out with us on Saturday? My girlfriend is going to bring one of her friends." To be honest, I wasn't all that enthusiastic about the idea. I'd never been on a blind date before, and I just couldn't imagine it would be a success. On the evening of the date, I was feeling very pessimistic, and I almost canceled. Pete and I had arranged to meet the girls in a club. We got to the club early, and I remember my friend saying, "Here they are now." I looked toward the door, and I thought, well, I really hope the girl on the right is my date. Fortunately, she was. The evening went really well, and 2 years later, we got married. Pete and his girlfriend got married too, and we're still good friends. We usually meet for dinner about once a month.
4.
I was born in Egypt to an Italian father and French mother, but we came to live in London in the early 60s when I was 20. I got a job in a bank, but I didn't have many friends. In those days, it used to be difficult to meet people if you were a foreigner. One evening, I went to a dance at a restaurant, and I saw this gorgeous 18-year-old girl get up from her table and start dancing. I thought I had nothing to lose, and I wrote her a note saying that I was standing by the window, and if she would agree to come out with me, could she please smile at me? I then left the note on her chair. When the music stopped, she went back to her chair, read the note, and smiled at me. That was how it all started. When we decided to get married, at first her mother was totally against the idea, mainly because I was a foreigner, and also I was 11 years older than Leslie. But little by little, she got to like me, and in the end, she treated me like a son.
3.17. 1.
I usually get up at 8 o'clock during the week.
I don't normally go out during the week.
Houses in the suburbs usually have yards.
Do you normally walk to work?
2.
We used to go to the beach for our vacations when I was a child.
He didn't used to do any exercise, but now he runs marathons.
I never used to like hockey, but I watch it every week now.
We used to be close friends, but we don't talk to each other anymore.
That building used to be a restaurant, but it closed down last year.
Did they used to live downtown?
Didn't you used to have long hair?
3.18. 1.
I used to live in Los Angeles.
2,
She didn't used to wear glasses.
3,
Where did you used to work before?
4,
They used to see each other a lot.
5,
Didn't you used to have a beard?
3.19 Relationships. People. 1,
Couple.
2,
Partner.
3,
Fiancé.
4,
Roommate.
5,
Colleague.
6,
Ex.
7,
Close friend.
8,
Classmate.
3.20 Verbs and verb phrases. 1,
I met Mark when I was studying at Boston University.
2,
We got to know each other quickly because we went to the same classes.
3,
We soon became friends, and we discovered that we had a lot in common. For example, we both liked art and music.
4,
We went out together in our second semester, and we fell in love.
5,
We were together for 2 years, but we argued a lot, and in our last semester of school, we broke up.
6,
After we graduated from college, we lost touch because I moved to Chicago and he stayed in Boston.
7,
5 years later, we got in touch again on Facebook. We were both still single, and Mark had moved to Chicago too.
8,
This time we got along better than before, maybe because we were older.
9,
After 2 months, Mark proposed, and I accepted.
10,
We got married last summer. A lot of our old college friends came to the wedding.
3.21
Busy.
Close.
Close.
Conversation.
Decision.
Discuss.
Eyes.
Friends.
Lose.
Music.
Pleasure.
Promise.
Raise.
School.
Somebody.
Sport.
Sugar.
Summer.
Sure.
Unusual.
Used to.
Usually.
Various.
3.22
Snake. S. Close. Conversation. Discuss. Promise. School. Somebody. Sport. Summer. Used to. Various.
Zebra. Z. Busy. Close. Eyes. Friends. Lose. Music. Raise.
Shower. Sh. Sugar. Sure.
Television. J. Decision. Pleasure. Unusual. Usually.
3.23.
Hello and welcome to Forum, the program that asks you what you think about current topics. Today, Martha Park will be talking about the social networking site Facebook, how we use it, how much we like it or dislike it. So get ready to call us or text us and tell us what you think. The number, as always, is 555-4318. Martha.
Hello. Since Facebook was first launched in 2004, a lot of research has been done to find out what kind of people use it, what they use it for, and what effect it has on their lives. According to a recent study by consumer research specialist Intersperience, the average 22-year-old in Britain has over 1,000 online friends. In fact, 22 seems to be the age at which the number of friends peaks. It also appears that women have slightly more online friends than men. And another study from an American university shows that people who spend a lot of time on Facebook reading other people's posts tend to feel more dissatisfied with their own lives because they feel that everyone else is having a better time than they are. So, over to you. Do you use Facebook? How do you feel about it? Can you really have 1,000 friends? Are social networking sites making us unhappy? Call in and share your experiences.
3.24.
And our first caller is Young. Go ahead, Young.
Hi. Yeah, I use Facebook a lot every day. I think it's a great way to organize your social life and keep in touch with your friends. I have a lot of friends.
How many friends do you have, Young?
Right now, I have 1,042.
And how many of them do you know personally?
About half, maybe.
And what do you use Facebook for?
For me, it's a good way to get in touch with my friends without having to use the phone all the time. When I'm having a busy week at school, I can change my status so I can let my friends know I can't go out. That's a lot easier than wasting time telling people, sorry, I'm too busy to get together. It's just easier and quicker than using the phone.
Thanks, Young. We have another caller. It's Beth. Hello, Beth.
Hi. I don't use Facebook or any other social networking site.
Why is that, Beth?
Well, 2 reasons. First, I don't spend much time online. I play a lot of sports. I'm on a hockey team, so I meet my teammates almost every day, and we don't need to communicate on Facebook.
And the other reason?
I just don't really like the whole idea of social networking sites. I mean, why would I want to tell the whole world everything that I'm doing? I don't want to share my personal information with the world and become friends with people I don't even know. And I don't want to read what other people had for breakfast or lunch or dinner or what they're planning to do this weekend.
Thanks for that, Beth. Our next caller is Emma. It's your turn, Emma.
Hi, Emma.
Hi, Martha.
And do you use Facebook, Emma?
I use it once in a while, but not very much. I only really use it to keep up with friends who have moved abroad or live too far away for us to meet regularly. For example, one of my best friends recently moved to Canada, and we chat on Facebook. But I never add friends who are people I hardly know. I just can't understand those people who collect hundreds or even thousands of Facebook friends. I think it's just competition. People who want to make it seem that they're more popular than everybody else.
So you think the Facebook world is kind of unreal?
Absolutely. I think people write things and post photos of themselves just to show everyone they know what a fantastic time they're having and what exciting lives they lead. But they're probably just sitting at home in front of the computer all the time.
Thanks for that, Emma. We have time for one more caller before the news, and it's Ned. Hi, Ned. You'll have to be quick.
Hi, Ned.
Hi. When I started off with Facebook, I thought it was great, and I used it to communicate with close friends and with family, and I got back in touch with old friends from school. It was good because all the people I was friends with on Facebook were people I knew, and I was interested in what they were doing. But then I started adding friends, people I hardly knew who were friends of friends, people like that. In the end, I had more than 1,000, and it just became too much. It was just too many people leaving updates, writing messages on my wall. So last month, I decided to delete most of them. It took me about half an hour to delete, and in the end, the only people I left were actual, real-life friends and family, and old school friends. I got it down to 99. It was really liberating.
Thanks, Ned. And we'll be back after the news, so keep those calls coming.
3.25.
Monica?
Jenny!
Oh! Wow, how are you? You look great.
Thanks, Jenny. You look really good, too.
Hey, why don't we get some coffee?
I'd love to, but I'm on the way to meet... Oh, come on. 5 minutes.
So, how is everything?
Oh, great. Things couldn't be better, actually. Scott and I, we're getting married.
You're what? Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
When did you get engaged?
Only a few days ago. I'm glad I saw you, actually. I was going to call you. We've only told family so far.
I can't believe it. Monica the wife. And to think you used to go clubbing every night.
Well, that was a few years ago. All I want to do now is stay in and read wedding magazines.
And how are the plans coming along?
Oh, I haven't done anything yet. My mom and Scott's mom want to organize the whole thing themselves.
That's what mothers are for.
True. But what about you? You look fantastic.
Well, I guess I'm kind of happy, too.
Uh-huh. What's his name?
Rob.
Oh, you've been keeping him very quiet. Is it serious?
It's kind of, you know.
So it is.
It's still early. We haven't been together for long. He only moved here from London a few months ago.
What? He's British? And you think you can persuade him to stay in New York? That won't be easy.
I think he likes it here. You know how guys are. You never know what they're thinking.
When can I meet him?
That's him now.
$3.26.
Do you mind if I join you?
Of course not. Come on, sit down.
Thank you.
I have to leave in a minute anyway.
Could I have a large latte, please?
Of course.
Rob, this is Monica.
Nice to meet you, Rob.
You too, Monica. You know, Jenny talks about you a lot. And I've seen college photos of you two together at Jenny's parents' house.
Oh, of course you have. My dad's photos?
You've hardly changed at all.
What a nice man. I can see why you like him, Jenny. The perfect English gentleman.
Your latte.
Oh, thanks. Can you pass the sugar?
Sure. Oh, sorry, guys, but I have to go.
Oh, you sure I haven't interrupted anything?
Not at all. It's just that I have to meet someone. But let's get together very soon.
We will.
Bye, Rob. Nice meeting you.
Bye.
Bye. Talk soon.
She seems like a happy person.
She is. Especially right now. She's getting married.
That's fantastic news.
Yeah, it is. I guess we're at that age now, when most of our friends are settling down and getting married.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of friends, I want to ask you a favour. Is it okay if we change our plans a bit this week?
Sure. What's up?
I've just had a call from an old friend of mine, Paul. I haven't seen him since we were at university, and he's travelling around the States at the moment. Anyway, he's arriving in New York this evening, and I've invited him to stay for the week.
Cool. It'll be fun to meet one of your old friends. What's he like?
Oh, Paul's a laugh. He used to be a bit wild, but that was a long time ago. He's probably changed completely.
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Just one other thing. Could you do me a big favour? I have to work late this evening, so would you mind meeting him at the airport?
Not at all. I'd like to meet him.
And do you think you could take him to my flat? I'll give you the keys.
No problem, Rob.
Thanks so much, Jenny. You're a real star.
(3.27) Asking permission. 1.
Do you mind if I join you?
Of course not. Come on, sit down.
2.
Is it okay if we change our plans a bit this week?
Sure.
Requests. Asking someone to do something. 1.
Can you pass the sugar?
Sure.
2.
Could you do me a big favour? I have to work late this evening, so would you mind meeting him at the airport?
Not at all. I'd like to meet him.
3.
And do you think you could take him to my flat? I'll give you the keys.
No problem, Rob.
3.28
Do you mind if I join you?
Of course not.
Is it okay if...
Sure.
Can you pass the sugar?
Sure.
Could you do me a big favour? Would you mind meeting him?
Not at all.
Do you think you could take him?
No problem.
3.29
Hey, man.
Paul!
It's great to see you, mate.
You too, Paul. It's been years. You haven't changed at all.
Just got better looking.
How come you're so late?
Paul's flight from LA was delayed, and then the traffic coming back was just awful.
But that gave us time to get to know each other.
Yeah. Paul told me all about his travels. Every detail.
And look at this. Your own New York flat. How cool is that?
It's good. Really good. But do you want something to eat? I got some things on my way home.
Stay in. It's my first night in the Big Apple. Let's go out and have a pizza or something.
I thought you'd be tired after the flight.
No way, man. I'm ready for action.
Great. I'll get my jacket.
Rob, I think I'll go home if you don't mind. I'm exhausted.
Oh, okay then.
So it's a boys' night out.
Just like the old days.
And after the pizza, we can go on somewhere else. Rob, we've got a lot to talk about.
3.30
Hey, man. It's great to see you, mate.
How come you're so late?
No way, man.
Rob, I think I'll go home if you don't mind.
Just like the old days.
Rob, we've got a lot to talk about.